Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get this started here. Good. First, we're gonna start out with the Path of Ascension Q and A. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. If you want to see a fight, if you have, like I said, any questions on a fight, I'm definitely happy to answer. Everybody a chance to kind of get in. Go ahead. I've been seeing a lot of things about the cheese method for Ecthra getting even worse. Let's give that a look at. Let's give that a look at. First, try the normal cheese method. Does it right there. Spiders every so often. That's too close to the edge. Try standing on the brake. See if that does anything. But if you have any questions or if you want to see a fight, let me know. Right now I'm testing out Ecthra because I've been seeing a lot of comments where she's not functioning for the cheese method. We're going to try out a few different cheese methods on her. Because we also have to look at Mechanicos. Looked like it would work, I just didn't do it right. she's gonna go. She comes. Probably gonna turn her into a friendly target here. Whoops. Walked right off the edge. Well, thank you so much. I will definitely continue to work hard on this, Vladimir. Um, as even as they patch it and fix some of the cheese methods or make the cheese methods function a little bit harder. We will definitely continue working on this. If I can do things right. Biggest thing is to keep her from nowadays is as soon as she approaches that, she becomes a friendly target and it doesn't want to register half the damage. I didn't mean to walk off the ledge there. Main thing is staying ahead of Blizzard on all the fixes or bugs or whatnot. John, will you bring me my Gatorades? He doesn't know I already have one. That method doesn't work. Wonder if I could do the standing over here if that would do it. She'd be proccing my shield too much. Okay. Seems to still work. You just have to kind of come up to her on the ledge. And grab the shield there. But now, because of the way she moves, it makes it hard to actually do the DPS. I'm going to try standing on the side there if that changes anything. No, because the spiders will still get you there. Oh, you're welcome, Moose Age. So as far as I know, only to the moon. That's the only secret achievement I'm aware of. I have been curious because depending on who you choose, you kind of get like different like NPCs around the area. So I always get curious on that if there is another one that has to involve them with any of the soul binds because like you can see Apollon Artemidi, I've seen Nemia and all that over here with I believe Clea, and then with Mechanicos I've seen some other ones. Let's try the vase method and see if that helps. I'm not getting my shields when I should be getting them. Oops, helps if I choose a soul bind. This is still kind of doable, not the best. I just hate getting on top of these vases. They're a real pain in the butt. My god. I swear this game wants to mess with me. Oh. Now, if she does like the normal bug way, she's going to start like creeping towards me, and then she's going to start walking really weird. She's going to do the thing where she like gets here and just creeps. Oh, okay. Down to 37, 33. Hello, little. This still looks like it's the best way to go. Okay, so that way it looks like you're going to have a little bit more success as far as no little Acthra. I had to check the Mechanicos one too. So the two ways that I farm medallions, one, you can do the server hopping method, and the way you do that is, so if you come over here, there's 4 chests that spawn up, and each one of them contains a medallion. You can also kill the rare spawn that's right here as you run up, and there's another one right down here. And you can get those 2 on your way up. But what you can do is you can join a group, and that will change the shard you're in, and you'll jump to another server. And those 4 chests, you can loot them again. And then you can leave the group, join another group, loot all 4 again. Sometimes you'll end up in a shard that might only have like 1, 2, or 3 of them up instead of all 4, but you can easily farm medallions like that. I also farm mats depending on what I'm doing, because I'd rather use the medallions for actual fights, where I'd rather just go spend 15 minutes farming mats for like charms. And I have videos of medallion farming and the mat farming location, so that way you can easily, you don't even have to spend long, you don't have to spend 30 minutes, you can spend 10 minutes and easily get 20 to 30 mats. And that way you can be like, okay, and if you wanted to, you could turn around and turn those into medallions if you wanted to. That'd be fine. But within the time that it takes you to farm up the mats, you could also go and server hop 4 times and get, 16, compared to where you spend 10 minutes and you might, make only 4 or 5. But I'd much rather use my medallions for the actual fights. Which ones did you still need on Mechanicos, Wu Sage? Oh, you're welcome, Vladimir. And then, of course, for any extra medallions, so that way you really don't have to try. You, of course, make sure your mission board. Make sure you're doing your callings. As long as they're Bastion or the ones that require you to go in the Maw, you'll get ones there. And, of course, your Paragon, stuff like that. I don't think I actually have a Charm on me right now. A Charm of Focus? Do. Immortality. I guess you could even use... No, you can't do Master of the Past, so you might as well turn the Brazier. So, we're going to try his cheese method, make sure it still works. This one's also gotten a bit buggy, too, from what I understand. Seen a lot of comments where people have had this not functioning the way it's intended. Well, I guess what we're doing is actually not how it's intended, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Start heading that way, because she's going to summon crawlers, and last thing I want is them on my butt. Come on. Get unstuck. Yeah, I can see where it's... Just spam it. That's all you gotta do here. Just spam the freaking button. We didn't grab the file. One of these punches will go through. There we go. I just wish if Blizzard's gonna fix the cheese, maybe like tune the fights a little bit better. That's all I have to say. I don't think that they have to go super crazy as far as the tuning's concerned, but let's not be d-bags and make it like impossible. Why is it I can seem to target her this way easier than I can by looking straight at her? Mortality! So it looks like the Mechanicos cheese still works, and so does the... Uh-oh. Mechanico still works, and so does Pelagos. Even though I'd almost recommend hopping up there now, then, comparatively. See, I did that too, Wu Sage. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using it to buy the mats. It's just once you get to humility, like, the value of your medallions suddenly shifts from being, like, kind of liquid to very necessary in having the medallion over the mats. Good evening, Cornmark. Yeah, when I did legit Ecthra with Clea, that fight sucked. But I didn't use the turnip trick, and I also didn't use the energy trick either. Because with Clea, she's honestly not too bad if you use the energy trick without even using the turnip. Mechanicos you could probably do the legit way as well because of the immortality thing. Pelagos though, I don't know because As far as Master of the Path, I would say the fight then leans on Clea to do it, using the energy, and then just opening up with Ascended or Archon's Blessing and just going ham for that first wave of spiders and just nuking her health. But she behaves really weird when you do that. The good thing with Clea is all you have to do before you even do anything is just come up here, you just use a little bit of melee, just melee, bloop, and then if you teleport down, you're still generating energy no matter what. As long as you keep this targeted, you'll just generate energy indefinitely. So you can start off the fight right with an Archon's Blessing. What up, Ice Fox? And once again, if anyone wants to see a fight or anything like that, let me know. I'm more than happy to demo a fight. Okay, Master of the Path with Azurux. I can show that. So for Azurux, I did it with Clea. And we're going to make this really easy, because we're going to use the energy trick. So I've already slapped this one. We're going to slap him again. So if you're doing Azurux, I recommend Clea because he's got ads. Great thing about ads with Clea, of course, is once you use your Archon's Blessing and Keen Insight, everything becomes crit, and you can just nuke things' health. So as you can see, I've already slapped it. All you got to do is some melee damage. You got to do actual melee damage, your auto attack, not any of your abilities. We're going to go ahead and we're going to, let's not forget a file. File Serenity. Start the fight. And I'll show you exactly how to do this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to generate the energy that we need to defeat him. So, oh wow. Whoops. Did that wrong. Since I chose the thing, I forgot I didn't click back on the thing, so we got to restart that. My bad, people. I got too excited to do a boss. I'll demo this. And everything I do with the demos, I am in the PTR right now. It is everything that's also in the live system, so nothing changes if you're wondering why I have a red X on my screen. But this way I have unlimited medallions. Because I can just delete my PTR character and redo it. You can also take the Vial of Lich Frost as well. So we're going to slap that. Keep it targeted this time. And that way you can kind of freeze the ads to kind of kite away from them so you can save up 2 groupings of ads. So as you can see, still targeted, and I'm still generating energy. And we're going to take that all the way up to 100% so that way we can start off right with it. What up, Kalia? It's going good. Just doing my weekly Q and A, and I do this every week, every Monday at this time, maybe a little bit earlier. That way, if you have questions, if you need to see a fight, feel free to ask. And I'm more than happy to demonstrate a fight or anything like that. So we're still generating energy here. It does take about between like 50 seconds and a minute. But we're pretty much just going to leap right on in there. We're going to wait for his first group of ads to blow our Archon's Blessing. So we're just going to pretty much use all of our other abilities on him until we have that. And then we're going to use it, and then we're just going to DPS him. Because he's a pretty straightforward fight. So here we go. We've got our full energy. And this you can do without the turnip trick. It's real easy to do. Don't get hit by the slam. Devouring Rift. That's on that side. We're going to leap back over here. And here comes his infestation. I just ate his slam. Do be mindful with Clea because those do blow up. I'm going to kite for a little bit here. We're gonna wait for the next infestation, and then we're gonna go. I let myself get hit by the slam. We're gonna retry that. That was my bad. I wasn't paying attention. I'm not perfect, but I do need to pay attention. So I apologize for that. That's essentially what you do there. And also, if you save your file as well, for once you get your crit, you can actually get a critical heal on that as well. So I messed that up not by paying attention. So got another try here. Right now, but yeah, essentially that's it, Ice Fox. I didn't do the fight good, so I apologize that it wasn't a win. But that's essentially what you do, is you save those, so that way you can wipe his ads up and use his ads as crit. Because with her, when you do your Keen Insight, it instantly kills him, and for each one you kill, it's 10% crit. So one infestation is 50% crit, not including the 5 that you get just from being near him. I think in mine, I didn't use this trick in mine, so I had to fight him, and then I used the first pack, and then I kind of used the second and the third one together. So then that way I could do that. For the other covenants, right now I've got no plans for guides for them because they're pretty straightforward. It's just RNG with the Night Fae with their little garden, the role-playing event with the Venthyr. I don't even know what that consists of. And then you've got Maldraxxus's Build-A-Bear with your Abomination or whatever. But I'll give them a look at. I don't have any alts yet in those factions. I think we're at our 100 now, so we're going to go ahead and do this right this time. Here comes the slam. Okay, we're going to stay away from him for a little bit here. I want to generate some health, and I want to get at my... About to get it, and then we're going to nuke him. Did I just get splashed by something? Some more health, because we are low. I think one more slap and we're done. We got plenty of time. There's no rush. I'd normally probably backpedal a little bit more too. I'm probably taking more hits than I should. Whoops, did that early. I messed that up on that. But I'm taking more hits than I normally would. I need to be backpedaling more. Taking too many of his actual physical hits. Probably sat that first heal too long, too. I haven't done Azrix in a while. I probably should have also leapt behind and let one of the things kill some of that one spawning. Thank you so much there, Keenan. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. I mean, with the other covenants, I mean, they didn't even they got kind of like the shaft, in my honest opinion, as far as like fun factor. Like, I don't know if, who you might not consider the Path of Ascension fun. I mean, it's got promise. It's just with the some of the fights are really crappy. I should get it this time. I've been messing up. I shouldn't be taking as much damage as I am. I'm not really backpedaling. I'm just standing toe to toe. I need to be kiting him more. You can see I'm out of practice with Azrux. Oh, thank you so much for the follow there, Woo Sage. I appreciate that. Okay. Oh, I didn't summon. That's odd. Thank you for whatever that was. I'm sorry I can't tab out right now. Here we go. I got slammed. Son of a beep. Come on. Wow, it actually detonated at my feet. And I got hit. I'm playing this really badly on this Azarux. That is not like me. Either that or they upped his damage and didn't tell anybody. I don't remember him giving me this much trouble before. Yeah, there's some of these fights like they need to heavily tune. I agree, Keenan. Like they're like Mad Mortimer doing him the way he's intended to do. I don't honestly know how you would actually do that with Pelago since he's so much single target. Like I know Unleash can hit all three of them and it leaves a dot and stuff like that. But as far as like getting him to the point where he's at 50%, like you really have to be pumping damage, but then it would leave you with no no way to like do it. You wouldn't have enough time. Ecthra having to avoid and DPS with Pelagos makes it really crappy as well. I'm sure if you went full charms and ran around and all that, the problem is that fight, the longer it goes on, the more green crap on the ground, the more green crap, the slower you get, and it just ends up in a bad situation. There we go. Now we've found a sweet spot. I feel like he's chewing me up way more than he should be. I don't remember him doing this much damage either. Wait for his next infestation before we go in. Because I really do not recall that doing that much damage before. He's eating me up. I think I got hit by the one summoning in. It was one of the problems there. But I feel like his damage is more than it's been. Sad thing is, I might not, because I don't remember him hitting me for like between 1 to 2K. I don't remember that. Look at something here. I don't remember him being that much trouble before. I don't feel like I'm doing anything different than what I did. Can't even demo my own fight. Either that or I'm getting hit by stupid stuff, not paying attention. Let's take a look here. Not unless they're intending to up Azrax's damage. I see. Yeah, I stood toe to toe with him. Even in my guide, that's not funny. I'd even said I felt like. Yeah, I used the second and third to guarantee the crits. Yeah, I think I'm engaging him too much. Is what my problem is. Yeah, I think that I'm over engaging is the problem. I'm trying to fight him too hard. Okay. I'm over engaging is the problem. Yeah. Yeah. So with the Sended Strike or with Keen Insight, I use it on cooldown, and then of course I use it on Infestation because with it allows me to get all the crit. The problem is I'm over engaging is the problem here. I see where I'm going wrong. I should be waiting for his infestations to get all that crit and then diving back in on him. But the problem is I'm not. I'm trying just to go toe to toe with him, and I shouldn't be doing that. Yes, I've gotten all the achievements in the Path of Ascension. But I've been over engaging. I didn't take the file, did I? Oh my god. I wish it wouldn't like unequip you with it unless you leave the place. Like I hate the fact that it like takes it off you every time. I always forget when I'm going from fight to fight. But this is why we do this on the PTR. So that way we can sit here and make as many mistakes as we want in practice. You can tell I'm definitely out of style on Azor because I haven't done him in a while. But I should know better than to be engaging as hard as I am, especially for a master of the path. Watch me forget something else. I didn't hear the clunk sound. That's how I knew it didn't hit. Here we go. The thing is with like Path of Ascension, like the equipment, I wish one it didn't unequip you. So that way you could just go up there and be like, oh, okay, we're good to go. We can try again. I wish half the equipment was usable. I can never get my boot, the Herald's boots. I never get it to work. All it ever does is make me float straight up. The ring of warding, like in fights where you'd be like, oh, this is a good idea to use. If there's ads in the fight, it instantly breaks because it can only bounce things off like 5 times, so it sucks there. Where you'd think it would be at its strongest. The shield one, I've honestly never seen it actually shine. I don't know if it just isn't working right, or I've never feel like it bounces damage back. So I feel like it's one of those things that's kind of like a wasted opportunity there for whatever that thing does. I guess technically you could probably even use it on this fight as well. Let him just beat up on the shield, damaging himself when the shield's down, just sit there and do other things. Actually, you know what? We're gonna see if you're gonna push. Nope, I was in the circle when it detonated. Now here comes our first infestation. Run for now. Some health until we've got 2. We're gonna wait until the second infestation, which is here it comes. Annoying. That's a slam. That's an infestation. Nah, I got hit right there as I leapt. I am still just playing this like shit. I apologize, everybody. This is not normally how I do this. I shouldn't have gotten hit by that first blast. That was me being a doof trying to push him back. Because I know if you're within his hitbox or whatnot, he'll back up. And I messed that up by doing that. I never should have gotten hit to begin with there. That shaved off like a cool like 5,000 health. Ironically, I think Azric's. Thank you so much for the follow there, Ice Fox. I feel like Azric's has one of like the like calmest timers out of all of them. Like they gave him a huge timer compared to like Craven Corinth. Well, Craven Corinth I know's got really low health, but like you look at like Ectra, hers is a really tight timer. Honestly, I don't think, and even if you cheese her where you can just do raw damage, I don't even think in most fights you get her in the timer. I think only with like Clea do you. But you look at like even Calistine with Pelagos, I don't think I downed her in the timer. That's a tight timer there. But his, like you literally can do like nothing for like a good minute. Like, I don't understand why they gave him such a large timer. Oh, there's that. I think we're actually doing it right for one this time. Back it up. Run for your life. There's a crab infestation and the shampoo's not curing it. Here comes the second infestation. I got hit by that slam. Now we're just gonna run around again. See, before I was over engaging, and I knew I was over engaging too. Let's not get hit by the explosive. There we go. I'll run around until we get it back. I knew I was doing something that I didn't do in my I just suddenly thought he'd be easy for some reason. There we go. Now I did it right. I needed to do a lot more kiting than I was doing. So I apologize for that. But that is how you actually are supposed to do that. For some reason, I thought I was a lot beefier than I was. I don't know why. But yeah, just kite him around in between the damn witchmacallits. But I apologize. That took me so long. I should have been able to do that way more successful. Do honestly, Cornmark, I do believe it is honest to do it, or to I think it is possible to do it without the turnip. I do. And in my video I say that too at the end, that I was like, I really feel like you could. I think the main thing with Craven Corinth is you have to know where he's going to be to maximize your damage. If you're not in the right places, it makes it that much harder, because you have to know, you have to be able to kite him around and be back at the center for the Fan of Desolation, and that way you can continue DPSing him. And then you have to kind of know when he's teleporting, so that way you can use the file. And if they ever fix, I don't know if that's an ever thing that they'll be able to fix, as far as like the file of Lich Frost, that he'll still consume even if he's frozen. I don't know if that's a glitch, or if that's just like, oh, okay, he was stuck, he couldn't go into the next phase of his ability, so it kind of like cancels it out. But I think if you know where he's going to be and you maximize your damage, I think you could do it without the turnip. I think you'll be at the part where you're probably going to be punching the timer, in all honesty. Because I did a lot of testing on here, like without even the turnip, and I feel like it's doable. But of course, you're going to be doing it with all your charms. And even if you go over at that point, the good thing about Mechanicos is you basically become immortal when you get knocked out. The main thing is you hit your number 2 ability immediately. Because I don't even think he even consumes anymore at that point as soon as he enrages. It's like he doesn't give two shits about consuming. And then you just hop out and you hit your number 2 ability. You can still punch him as actual as Mechanicos, you can actually still do damage. It just makes the fight suddenly last forever. And then, of course, you hop back in, quickly just spam 1, punch him as much as you can, get knocked out, get out, punch him as Mechanicos, get back in, spam your 1, and do everything in your power to spam damage. I think it comes down to how much stuff you have on the ground underneath Braun, in all honesty. Because the more he puts in, the faster Braun's going down. I mean, shoot. Do I have another charm? So we can go make the other charms real quick. Let's go do that. And then I can... Let's do this real quick. And then I'll show you Mechanicals. We won't use the turnip trick. Because I don't think it's necessary. I think the big thing is just knowing where he's going to be every second of the fight to maximize that damage. Really. Because there's really no way to lose as Mechanicos. The main thing is you don't let him consume. For the longest of times, I thought this was actually for the mission board. Let's see, it's doing that again. We don't need that because it's... Got a Charm of Focus there. Let's create a Charm of Discord. Okay. But I do think it's doable. Within the timer, that's kind of hard to say. But I'd definitely do as much damage before you end up having to worry about the timer. Frost. Oop. Helps if we choose a fight. And helps if we equip our badges. Okay. So we'll try it without the turnip trick. I like to fight him to the right, just because when he runs to you, I don't like to have him dropping the crap right there where he's going to be teleporting to. Start off with a Hyperlight Beam. Wow. I guess we'll wait. I'm going to do that just because he's going to teleport. That's going to knock me out, which is okay. Really, is he actually consuming? No. But as you can see here, now we have the problem where... Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't... I played that ugly, though. I got kicked out way too early because I allowed myself to get hit by the... But I think it's doable. The bad thing is, the more stacks of crap that you get on you, the harder it is to get Braun out of that because you just don't have the health. Because he continues to take damage while he's in that puddle, so you get in and it's out, in and it's out, and then targeting him, and it just becomes... I guess you could set up a hotkey so that way you don't have to re-click him, and that way as you get in, you can just be like spamming, let's say like E for your hotkey target whatchamacallit, and just hit E and then just spamming the 1 button. But I think it's doable. Like, that fight just becomes really sloppy. Yeah, I feel like that was how, like, kind of their response. Be like, hey, man, we think people might be able to cheese these fights somehow. I know, let's make Kraven's damage insane because of his haste. Let's give him a hell of a ton of... Like, but I think it's doable. I shouldn't have gotten hit by the one of Fan of Desolation, because that's a good time to really be maximizing how many orbs you've got out. And then when you come out of it, of course, then getting knocked out, getting a chance to gather up a whole bunch of orbs or whatnot, getting back in, freezing him so he can't do it, then DPSing him. But like for Craven Corinth, I don't know why they chose to make him as fast as he is. But see, the funny thing is you look at all the descriptions in your Soul Mirror, and it only says that their damage and HP went up. It never said that their haste went up. It doesn't say anything about increased haste. So that's what comes as a surprise to me. You know, it says all enemies have their health and damage further increased and empowered if they enrage. But but all of them are faster. They cast faster, and you know you throw that into the pool, and it's like, well, maybe that's what they meant by they had their damage increased, is they increased their haste rather than just flat out increasing their damage. They're like, oh man, let's make them faster. Because the first fight I noticed that on, I wasn't sure. I felt like it was faster on the other ones, but the first one I noticed it on was Thantriok because of Terminal Destruction. I was like, man, that cast bar is hella fast. I was like, before you had like a good like 20 seconds before you got that cast off. I was like, that felt like 5. But they definitely increased everything's haste. I just hope if they're gonna like that they don't get rid of like the ability to cheese Thantriok, or until they fix him. Because you need to be able to get into melee range. If they want to make it where you can do Thantriok with Mechanicos, you have to get into melee range. There's just no way. I don't know what in God's name they were thinking when they did that. I wonder if you could use the Thantriok glitch too on Mad Mortimer and make him and hop back in before the fight ends to get like all the stuff off the floor. Yeah, I did that earlier. I used so I can show it again. So I was still able to do it with Braun against the thing. With Pelagos, it wasn't working so successfully here, but right here it worked. I'll show Ector again. I had more success on the actual potted plant. Where is she at? There she is. So if you were doing like Master the Path, which I guess I mean using the strategy with Clea, you could probably do Master of the Path there as well. I just hate it doing it with Clea just because you know. But I think one thing they need to do with Mechanicos is when you're in Brawn, is maybe making it where snap is making it where um he takes less melee damage maybe that would what would work. But then I feel like then it would make it too easy in other fights because then of course you'd stay in Brawn way longer than you should. You'd probably never get knocked out. But maybe making Thantriok like a debuff on it called like Brittle Bones or something, and that way you could take more damage or resist the melee damage from Thantriok. But then that way it really doesn't affect the other two because you're not in Brawn, so it'd still do the ton of melee damage, which if you shouldn't be in melee range with Pelagos anyway. If you are, you're already doing it wrong. But I had more success up here. Let's do this. Weird thing is she acts weird. Her behavior is really weird in here. So she's stuck. Go ahead, we're going to take a shield. She like creeps up to this wall and then just like she'll either stand here and you can DPS her, or she'll come around it and then see. This is the bug that I ran across before too. So now she's just gonna chill there. She can't attack me. There we go. Now we're probably pushing the timer. I shouldn't have held her in place right there is what I shouldn't have done. We'll get closer, which is okay. That hit her? I feel like that one didn't hit her. Well, it must have because she's got the unleashed dot at least. That's at least something. But I feel like I get more success standing up here now than I do over here. Did I? Was I sitting there punching a button that I didn't? I always seem to get shield. When I'm up there, I always seem to get shield. If I can hop back up there. But for whatever reason, I think it's just because of the way it is. But I always seem to get shield when I jump up here. And I think it's because since it's the one that's on the right, typically, I think it always just seems to drop it on me. But I've always had 100% success rate with shield on this. Shield again. But yeah, I've always had 100% success rate with shield. The other thing is she'll glitch. Like, so what she'll do is the other thing I've noticed. So you start the fight by binding her. She starts walking all slow like, so she's all like boop, 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 and then she gets up to here, and then she'll just stop right here and just chills. She won't do anything. She won't attack. And then the only thing you can hit her with is Aspirin's binding and unleash, and like in special spots. So like it'll work like if I target here, it'll hit her. But if I target here, it misses. But here hits, misses, hits, misses, hits, misses, misses, hits, and it's a hot mess. Like it suddenly goes from being like the little 2 minute fight to like this 10 minute ordeal of what will and will not hit her, and it's a huge pain in the ass. So I don't understand why they do what they do. She's just a weird fight. Eventually, I wonder if they'll just take away the flower pots and be like, "Oh man, you can't jump up here now. Take that, player base." But I've been very successful at doing it that way. Honestly, I should probably redo the guide because this method is working way better than that method. There's this one. I think that was kind of a hot fix that Blizzard did. That they're like, oh man, how can we stop them from cheesing this? Oh, I know. We'll turn into a friendly target when they stand up here. It's still doable, but I would probably say you're going to fail probably 3 out of 5 attempts. And that's probably not most ideal, so I should probably redo the Ector fight. I guess we could do that like now, I guess. I could hop over to live and do that. Because when you do it the other way, Oh, look at that. Just managed to get like 5 crawlers on us. Wow. I think they're leaping from the pillars is the problem here. Oh, this is gonna be dicey. Nope, I didn't get the shield up there. So they are leaping from the pillars as part of the problem there. So you'd probably honestly have to come all the way back to the back. Because before, I don't think they spawned on the pillars as often as that. But for whatever reason, that spot right there has become really dicey these days. Yep, let's not forget the equipment again. But it almost seems like the potted plant's the more the way to go these days. Oh, she's parking one right on top of me. God. But I have a lot less, like... And nowadays it also seems like she gets stuff way more often up there with you. If she gets any closer, it's going to start registering as a friendly target too. And this is where this suddenly becomes a hot mess. Yeah, because it's going to start registering as friendly here. Yeah, see, that didn't hit because of that. That time we got the speed, which is problematic. About to enrage too. See, she's registering as friendly. The poison. Didn't hit her again. I mean, this way it did like 4 out of 5 times you're gonna get hammed because of the either the spiderlings getting up there now, or her moving into being friendly. And the problem is with Ecthra, if she enrages, you're not gonna have enough time in between shields. She'll do her damage and then she's gonna shred you. It'll only be a matter of time. Let's try standing a little bit further back and seeing if we can get her to. But the problem is she moves too close up. Is that friendly target crap? Which I honestly, it was not doing that when I made my guide. So I know Blizzard did a hotfix, and just like they did with whatchamacallit, like didn't mention it to anybody. But I think that's the thing that like kind of agitates me with the whole thing is like if you're gonna hotfix stuff, make it at least like fun. Like Path of Ascension should not be this like ordeal. So we'll try more back here, see if that does it. See, it's starting to register as friendly. And that's going to kill your damage too, and the longer it takes to down her. We got 18 seconds left to do. That didn't hit her. She's enraged too. I got 4 seconds left on shield. She's going to do some damage here. That's problematic now. So, I mean, I guess back corner still kind of works. But once again, that's completely RNG that she doesn't approach up to here and then just completely register as friendly like 100% of the time. I don't have a video of the itsy bitsy, because if you do just just that method right there, that will get it for you. You can also, I believe, get it on. You can get it just by doing it on loyalty, unless they fix that, because it's supposed to be done on wisdom, which you could even just use the cheese method the same way. I think if you do the fight with Clea, because she summons 5, you need what, 20? I do not have that video on that one though, because I accidentally achieved that one. Because it was one of the first ones I got. Yeah, so I got that way back in December. And I got it on loyalty. With Pelagos using the cheat. Well, no, because I was kiting around the spiders. I was still doing the kiting method. And it's not too hard. She's going to summon four sets of spiderlings anyway. But with Clea, you'll probably get that amount just because of the fact that you're going to have to kill the first wave. Probably also going to kill the second. Thank you so much for the follow there, E Darkness. Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry, it took me so long to respond to that since I was tabbed in there. But I do feel like I need to update my Ecther guide though, because the fact that like I feel like 3 out of 5 times that's gonna be not a win for you with Pelagos, but over here, every time, over here, I feel like you're more likely to win on a more common basis. Oh, look at that! It finally happened, Cornmark. I didn't get the shield. Too far over? Try again, see if it gets the shield this time. See, now I get the shield. But yeah, I feel like you're going to have more of a success rate hitting her from here. Though if you're up there, she doesn't seem to do the spiderlings. Oh, you're very welcome, Noranir. Or Norinner. Oh, dude. I'm glad to hear that you were able to save medallions. The Path of Ascension. I've said this many times in my channel. I honestly believe the way they should have done it, because as it is, I mean, obviously you're going to burn through medallions. That means time. It means farming, stuff like that. It should have been, of course, cost you anima to build it. Of course, souls, and then X amount of medallions to build it. In my honest opinion, that's how it should have upgraded. It should have been souls, anima, and medallions. That way you could run it unlimited. I don't know why they were like, oh, let's do 1 medallion, 1 chance. I don't know what their logic was there. Why they added a whole separate currency to the whole thing. And then that way you could just run unlimited. Or you pay medallions and you get to do X amount of time. Because most of those fights take 2-3 minutes. If you use 10, let's say 10 medallions to be able to do an hour's worth of attempts. That is 30 attempts for 2-minute fights. Unless you're going to sit there and like AFK, you're not going to get your medallions worth. But I think they should have gone about it differently. I also don't agree with them on how they chose to. Congratulations, you used all this anima to get to level 5, you beat all the bosses, you did all the achievements, you did everything. Now pay more anima for your prize. I don't agree with that either. Now for the other covenants, I've got a buddy who's basically told me all about the other covenants with the you got the Venthyr role playing thing or whatnot, and you've got the Night Fae garden, and then of course you've got the Build-A-Bear and Maldraxxus. See, that's really good. You saved a lot more. I would say most of the people in Nornir, for me, they've probably between about 150 to 300 medallions. I'd probably say I was closer to the 300 range, mostly because of Ectra, Craven Corinth, and Thantriok. Um, but Path of Ascension I find fun. I really enjoy it. I hope they add more fights to it. I just wish they didn't make me pay for my prizes. That's like literally like entering a drawing, and they're like they call your number. You go up there like congratulations, you've won a chance now to buy this phone. It's like wait what? I thought the drawing was to win the phone. No, the drawing was to win a chance to pay for the phone. And you're like wait, what's the logic there? That's like paying twice. See, I even kind of wish Torghast had kind of been more like the Path of Ascension, where rather as going in as individual classes, that you would have gotten to chose like Jaina, Thrall, not sure on the Storm Totem or whatever his name is, and things like that. Done it more that way, like you would have gotten to go in as kind of someone that was in Torghast rather than someone that is infiltrating Torghast. I have a hard time believing that I'm killing all these people on these floors, and yet they're only sending a handful of guys at me, knowing that I'm becoming more and more powerful. And you would think from week to week the jailer would learn, hey, maybe we should send more guys. But I think Path of Ascension right now I'd say it's not bad, but if they're gonna fix the glitches and take away the stuff that makes it easier for some people, because no one wants to wait to do this for an ungodly amount of time. That's one of the things that takes away the fun factor. The fights don't have to be easy, but they have to be doable. And not just doable for 2% of the player base. Because one of the biggest things I've seen in. Thank you so much for the follow there, Curry97. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. One of the biggest things that I've seen with it is a lot of frustration comes from some of the fights being the way they are. And some people don't like the fact that you have to cheese them to get them done. I mean, you technically don't have to. It makes them a ton easier. And even then, you can still fail. Like, no one was complaining that Mad Mortimer took 30 minutes to down with Mechanicos before they fixed it. No one in their right mind was complaining about that. I know I wasn't. But it's one of those things where it's like, what? If you're going to fix it, Blizzard, don't just fix the glitch. Fix the problem where people are struggling to get the fight done. Like, if they were to ever fix the Charm of Focus, basically making Mechanicos immortal, I don't think you'd be able to do any of the fights with Mechanicos, really. You wouldn't be able to do Thantriok. You could probably still do Calistine, Alduran Mjolnir, Numenuru, and stuff like that, but I don't think you'd be able to do Craven Corinth. I don't think you'd be able to do Ectra. I don't think you'd be able to do Mad Mortimer. I don't think anyone's actually successfully done Mad Mortimer on the actual legit method. I think to down it, I think everyone has done the cheese method. Whether it be getting him stuck or now getting them to reset. But I don't think anyone can claim they've done Mad Mortimer legit. For Alder and Mjolnir, because that one has to be done on Courage, yeah? For Hoot of the Issue? Where's it at? It's probably actually way up here because I see what a Mjolnir trial. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna come here. If you can use the turnip trick to power yourself up. One of the things I like to do, I mean, you can even choose not to go with the Deep Echo Trident and just sit inside the things. And now that you've also got all of the braziers, you can definitely use that. What I like to do, bar, loyalty. I think you have to do it with. Okay, good. So I don't have to have any special equipment. And now that you got both braziers, you can definitely. A good thing you can also do, use the Charm of Focus. It'll make you immortal. Because then you can just hop in and out no matter how bad things get. And of course, you can take the Deep Echo Trident to also kick it. If you're kicking it, then you don't have to stand in it and you can continue to DPS. Or you can just go stand in it. It's not too hard to get Aldurin to typically follow. I probably wouldn't worry too much about lining them up. If you can, do it. But I would just DPS. I think I'll go with the Deep Echo Trident just to be safe because of the way this fight works. So we'll go ahead and zone in here. But I'll demo it. I don't mind at all. I like to start the fight on the left-hand side. You can do it on the right-hand side as well. I just do it on the left so that way I can get to Aldurin quicker. And this way your first Hyperlight Beam is going to hurt them both. Only 150. That's not too bad. So this way you can shave off 20k right there. Should be getting the first one here. There it is. Getting hit by stuff. I'm gonna go collect some energy. I'm stuck on that corner. I would probably, one of the biggest recommendations I would make is kite him away from Mjolnir because you get so much more of a gap. I'm not going to be able to kick that in time. Where'd that anima seed go? Did I kick it in time? Was I fortunate enough? Because, I mean, you don't have, I mean, you're not working with a timer, so you can really take your time. But I would kite him away from Mjolnir because you're going to get bigger gaps between her arrows just because of the range. That's one of the things that makes her so much easier on Wisdom and in Humility is the fact she teleports, and she'll teleport anywhere on the stage. So her arrows tend to be way spread out by the time they get to you. I would probably, like I said, I would just kite Aldurin away from Mjolnir. And then single target DPS him after the start of the fight. Or after your second Hyperlight Beam. So that way you can quickly do, 40,000 damage in that fight. I played that ugly too. But I would kite Aldurin away from Mjolnir. The irony was the first time I did Hoot of the Issue when Splinter Bark was still glitched and you couldn't get the achievement was I struggled like no other to get Splinter Bark down, even grabbing the flowers. And but then again, I didn't do any charms. I mean, I think I would have had the one brazier maybe. And I went against him in Humility and easily did the fight. Easily did it. And I was like, how did it get easier? I was like, God almighty. Because I think with Splinter Bark, all I used was braziers. I don't even think I used charms on that fight. But yeah, I would just separate them. And now too, you've got the two braziers, so you'll be doing increased damage. So it's not like if you had tried back when you were in loyalty or whatnot. but taking her damage out of the equation, he's actually fairly weak. His Anima Burst doesn't do anything. Don't get hit by the Anima Dervish. And either choose to interrupt the seed or just stand in it and DPS him. So you could even go with the file if you really wanted to. Because that's what makes it so easy with Pelagos is the fact that you're already at a range, so Mjolnir doesn't matter for Pelagos, and the shield literally makes you immune to everything. Thank you so much for the follow there, Understyle88. I appreciate that. But if you want to see a fight, ask any questions, feel free to. We are in the PTR, so everything you see here is also in the live system. There's nothing that does not work here that does, or does work here that does not work there. But this way, a good thing to do is you can come here and you can practice, and then you can use as many medallions as you want. You're not going to lose them. I think so far we've used 26 today. You can goof off. You can do whatever you need to do. You can practice the fights. It's how, if you've seen my Craven Corinth fight with Mechanicos, if you look in the description, I literally have every second of where he's going to be in that fight. And I was able to do that by coming in here and testing. So that way I knew when he was going to start his Fan of Desolation, when he was going to end his Desolation, when he would teleport, when he'd go into his next Fan of Desolation. So that way I could kind of test timers on, hey, where's he going to be? But I hope going into 9.1, it's one of the reasons I haven't spent any of my souls, is I'm really hoping they add more fights into the Path of Ascension. I really hope they do. I hope we don't go through 4 content patches, like large content patches, and end up with no more Path of Ascension. I would hate to think that within the first 6 months we're done with our Covenant thing. I really hope they add more into it. And I hope they're really interesting fights. I would love to see a different battleground. I would love to see it also where we also have a Path of Ascension, a different field of combat, rather than just this one. I also would like to see maybe not just combat, but other things. Kind of like how you have the jumping through the spears, doing like stuff like that. Maybe like an obstacle course where you have to jump from point to point with the 3 different. Obviously, it wouldn't work with Brawn for that. But finding out other ways to get around with Brawn and do things rather than just combat. I think there's a lot of cool stuff they could add as far as the Trial of Ascension. But I'm hoping they add more fights. Yeah, I don't know why they with Mechanicos and being able to DPS outside of it. I didn't think you could until one day. I know that it had been mentioned to me, and I accidentally clicked on something, and it allowed me to melee, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, Mechanicos shouldn't be able to melee. Thantriok shouldn't be able to melee. But I thought that was kind of odd, and the fact that the charm gives him immortality essentially. Yeah, like you should never lose a fight as Mechanicos. I mean, with Craven Corinth, you might, just because he keeps putting more and more crap on the ground, and then you're just out in, out in, out in, out in. It becomes this nasty mess. I know, right? If we keep this up, I was literally 0.3 away from affiliate. This is an amazing day that we're averaging 10. I appreciate all the follows, you guys. I love my community. I love being able to do Path of Ascension with you guys. That you guys come to me for advice and help. I greatly appreciate that. As a community, we've managed to ascend together. One of the things, if you're newer to the channel, I know Cornmark's probably heard me say it, but we do the fight solo, but we ascend together. So keep that in mind. Any time you're ascending, and if you're doing like the server hopping, looking for medallions, don't be afraid to look around. I always put in the notes that I'm server hopping for medallions. If you're ever doing a group in Bastion and you do see someone like ask for a group, or you're doing a world quest and they just say they're server hopping for medallions, hook those people up, man. Invite them into your group. I know they probably won't help you, but help other people out that are getting the medallions too. Help each other out. I can't stress that enough. Did you do class? Okay, I don't want to call from your teacher. Go take it easy. I think today we'll do our reaction video later this afternoon, okay, buddy? Right? And you're talking about the same glitch you can use on Thantriok where he beats the crap out of you and then you just hop right back in, even though you were technically dead. As long as you get back in Mechanicos, you can still continue the fight. What do you have to say to my viewers? Okay. I don't know what. Okay, I'll pass that along to them. Not not sure if I want to tell my audience to oil themselves up. Cornmark probably would. He'd listen to you. Okay. Go do some homework, buddy, while you wait for your next class to start. Dantriok with Clea. Definitely one of the tips I'd recommend, because if you use the turnip, I'd definitely use the energy glitch, so that way you don't have to wait an hour every time, and that's just a matter of coming over here, slapping it, and starting. Other things to keep in mind is Thantrok is really, really RNG based because of Death Blossom. So the way I recommend is doing it is, of course, doing Greater Necrotic, Death Blossom, Word of Suffering, and then Terminal Destruction. Because you're going to end up probably going through 3 Death Blossoms. The bad thing is with Death Blossom being RNG, you never know where it's going to be as far as where you need to be standing to avoid it. And that's the bad thing. So if Death Blossom starts, and let's say you're on this side, and unfortunately you have to get to this side, you're kind of boned. Because you're going to have, by the time you're able to get all the way around, you're probably going to be out here somewhere. And then at that point, if you don't get another one to be in the same direction, like if it's over here, like the next spawning was over here, you're done. Because you're not going to be able to wrap all the way around to get back over here. It's just not going to happen. And so the only thing I can say is you're going to burn through medallions, but definitely make sure, kick that first word of suffering, go into the Death Blossom. You're probably going to have to eat the next word of suffering, but definitely make sure to kick Terminal Destruction, and then by that point he's going to go into a Death Blossom. But it's purely going to come down to Death Blossom. That is 100% Dantrok. You can go, because you're not doing Master of the Path with Clea, you can go full Charms. Discord, I mean, it's kind of hit and miss because it's low proc chance and it's terrible amount of damage that it does. Definitely the movement speed. I'd probably go for the health and the health regen. The fight's over pretty quickly, but I mean, being able to last those extra seconds because you're going to be eating a word of suffering. And of course, definitely the Charm of Focus to generate, because you're going to want to be able to do that second Ascended. I think you can do your second Ascended going into... So, I mean, you could pretty much start with an Ascended. So you do your first Ascended with Greater Necrotic, beat the crap out of him. And then, of course, by the time you get your second Ascended, you should be on Word of Suffering. And I believe you'll get one more right after the Terminal Destruction going into your third. And if it lasts any long, if the fight lasts any longer than that, he's going to enrage and he's going to blow you up. I hope they increase the proc chance on the Charm of Discord. The only time you're not going to use Pelagos is if you're doing like Disciple of Humility, John Solo. Because if I had to rate them on difficulty, Pelagos is definitely easy mode because of his Confront Memories. Even though once you get to Humility, he can become difficult on some fights. There are fights where some of the other two might honestly be easier to use than Pelagos. And it comes down to if you're doing Master of the Path and stuff like that. But anything before Humility, just go Pelagos. There's no reason to use anyone besides Pelagos before Humility. Discord, I don't know why it only does like 8, like in total, like it's such a low one, it's a low proc chance. So in like a 2-minute fight, you'll literally get it to proc like twice. And it only does 850 damage during that whole uptime. So congratulations, you just did, what, 1% of their health? And 1% of their health in 2 minutes, that's terrible. If what determines it is 1%, there was stuff you could have done a lot better than if that's what determines you winning or losing. But they definitely need to either up its proc or up its damage. Because with a low proc chance, it should honestly be high damage. With a high proc chance, it probably could stay where it's at. Because getting it to proc is a mess. Like half the time it never procs. I think even in my video with Mechanicos, I think I used it and it was rarely up. Rarely up. And even when I've tested it out over here, it doesn't even do a lot of damage on mobs. Yeah, it does that too. So if you're like Discord is like the worst to use with the Vial of Lich Frost. Because I know that's where a lot of people have had problems with Craven Corinth. Because they'll proc the Charm of Discord and then they go to freeze him before he teleports. And because of that, he ends up consuming because it breaks him out. So it almost makes it where you can't use the Charm of Discord for the first like 30 seconds of that fight. I suppose you could do it and then just be like, oh, right click it off and get rid of it and then re-equip it, but I don't know why you'd want to use 2 Charms of Discord. But then having to go in and then re-equip it after he teleports is a nuisance as well. But as well, every Monday we do Q and A for Path of Ascension, so even if you're coming in late to this one, every Monday morning, somewhere between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. Alaska Standard Time, since I'm in Alaska, I will eventually log into stream and we do Q and A for Path of Ascension. But yeah, Charm of Discord, I almost wish maybe an area effect might even be even better than it is now, in all honesty. Or making it where it increases my damage rather than a dot. Like, I don't know, man. There's just things that they could do better. I hope down the road they add in more charms, too, for flavor. Like, I would love one for Mechanicos that almost turns Mechanicos into, like, the Charm of Magnetism. So then that way you don't have to run over to orbs. It just starts slowly drawing orbs in that are within, let's say, 10 yards to you. So that way it makes it easier to kind of run around. Not super quick, but at a decent pace. As far as nerfing it, I hope they go through and tune it. I mean, so far they've obviously gone through and decided to patch the glitches because now Ecthra, she becomes friendly if you try to cheese her. Mad Mortimer no longer does his line of sight. But as far as actually like tuning it down, I hope they do a little bit. I think some of the ones could use a little bit of a longer timer. And by longer, I mean maybe 5 to 10 seconds. Thank you so much for the follow there, Jack Bejim. Jack Bejim? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I do believe if you leave your covenant, if you come back to it, you do keep your stuff. So it will not get rid of it. I've heard people saying Renown 80, because what that would increase your stamina because of the 2% stamina that you get here there. I don't know. But I don't think they also intended for people to do it so quickly. But I mean, with the cheese methods, that definitely made it easier. You guys having corn dogs for lunch? I get it. You're breathing underwater. Kids. But I hope they like Thantryok, I hope they go in and they get rid of his melee. I don't think Thantryok should do any melee damage. Or they need to make it where if you're in Brawn, so just for the Mechanicos fight, that he gets like a debuff brittle bones or whatnot, that he does like 90% reduced damage only to Brawn though. So that way you can actually melee him. I don't know what they were thinking by letting him do like 2,000 melee damage a hit. Like he just chews through Brawn. Or they need to increase Brawn's health. The problem with that is if you're in Brawn, and he has a huge health pool, then that kind of defeats the purpose of being able to be kicked out. So you might as well just have just Brawn at that point. I do think some of them could be tuned a little bit better as far as their damage. Craven Corinth, I think, could be tuned down a little bit. Like his slap damage is hellaciously bad, and right now his haste really makes it even harder. Like he is not an easy fight. Ecthro with the spiders. I wish you kind of knew which direction they were going, since she just kind of throws them out in every direction unless you're Clea and you're Ascended, and then she drops them all at your feet. With Thantryok, I kind of wish they would also kind of like let you know where the next safe space is going to be, so that way you can kind of see the circle like casting before it starts to move. And that way you kind of be like, okay, I know it's on the left-hand side, so that way you go through it and you can kind of start moving around. Because with it being like RNG right now, you don't know where you need to be. It could be right in front of you. It could be the opposite side of you. And then it could be the opposite side of you again. And then you're really screwed. But if you knew it was that, you could head around to the opposite side, head back around, kind of tuning off your DPS. I still wish you'd be able to get into melee range, even with kind of like Clea, even though she has a kind of a semi-ranged attack. That way you could take advantage of your melee damage there as well, because Clea does a fair amount of slap damage herself. I think normally it ranges between like 700 and 1,000. Zoom in so I can see the numbers a little bit better. And I think on a crit she can do 1,500 in normal cleave. So see, I mean, if you could do that as well, on top of, you know, using your actual one ability, this would help out a great deal. Because you think you attack, what, we'll say about every 1 second. And Thantryok, he's got a fairly good health pool, but being able to add in that extra percent. And I mean, ultimately, will they patch some of the more issues? I don't think it's a hot thing on their plate. I'm actually surprised that they did anything to Mad Mortimer, and I'm pretty sure they snuck in a patch on Ecthra. I'm almost positive on that. But I'm surprised they've done anything to the Path of Ascension. Because who was out there bitching that Mad Mortimer was easy? You know, no one was out there going, oh my god, Mad Mortimer is so easy, fix this fight, Blizzard, fix it. But with 9.1, 4 months away, and I think it's coming into the beta here soon, so I think their focus is going to be on 9.1. I don't think that they're going to patch anything with Path of Ascension anytime soon. Cornmark, do you know if... Do you have to do any of the path with a alt? Is the achievements individual? Would I have to, like, let's say my priest, would I have to go back and redo the entire monstrosity that is Path of Ascension to be able to unlock it for a Clothy? Or since I've got the achievement, would I be able to just go pay the 12.5k anima and be able to get it for my Clothy? Is that a belief so for just being able to buy it? That it's account-wide? Because I saw the token said Death Knight, Pally, and Warrior, so I'd assume that, so... Okay, thank you for that, Jack. Okay, thank you for that. But yeah, if anyone wants to see a fight or has any questions on the Path of Ascension, feel free to. This is our Q and A for Path of Ascension. And I do this every Monday. So if you missed anything today, or if you have more questions down the road, you can also message me Twitch, YouTube. Also, if you haven't, we have a Discord link down below if you're watching on Twitch. You can click on the Discord, and that will give you the thing to our Discord channel for me and Kor. And you can join the community there as well. So that way you can also catch us in Discord. And if you have questions, you can also message. Everyone in there is pretty cool. And you can give my moderator Meg a hard time. I don't know if she's watching or not, but definitely give Meg a hard time. So for the... I mean, the bad thing is I can demo it, but I won't be able to achieve it because I already have it. But for a Thanos, choose. And you can do this with any soul bind as well. If you don't know about the secret achievement, it's the To the Moon achievement. It's this one right here. And you have to have a Thanos. So after he waves to you, he'll knock you off, whether with power swing or with massive charge. And once he gets you off the stage, he does like a slash goodbye. I'm going to let you know right off the bat, you're probably going to waste between 15 to 25 medallions to get the easiest achievement in the Path of Ascension. And what you do as you fall, and he does his wave right after his wave, there's a lot of speculation whether it's supposed to be slash wave, slash goodbye. On my PTR testing, I got it on a slash wave, and on my live video for the guide, I also got it on a slash wave. But you're going to want to create a macro. Macros. I did it like that just so that way I could guarantee that I target it, just in case if I had to retarget him after I got knocked out because he's still running. And then, of course, you'd add that to your bar. Right now, I can't because I'm like that. I'd actually still have it set up. We'll zone in and I'll show you real quickly how you would do it. And you can do this with any soul bind. It doesn't have to be on, and it can be on any difficulty. I just recommend on courage because then you can survive without really giving like any cares. So you'll see here. I suppose I should move my image here. I'm gonna park me over here. You can see he knocked me out here. You'll see that he did his slash wave right there. That up. You can see where he did the waves goodbye to you, farewell. But that's when you would do your slash wave. So let's go to the macro. We're going to bring it on over. Oh, I did have it there. No, that's my pummel. Okay. And then, of course, you would do key bindings. Quick key binding. We're just going to set this for fun's sake. We're going to set this to F. And you can also use, if you've got bartender, stuff like that. I tend to use these bars. Don't use your number one ability, your number one bar, because it will not function properly. You can see it where I've still got my thing out of the way. I should probably, I'm going to move me down over into this corner for now. And thanks so much for stopping by, Kor and Mark. I appreciate that. So you can see it's still allowing me to wave at a Thanos. And of course, this also counts as a Thanos, so that's kind of weird. So you just come in here again. Make sure you got that macro set up. And like I said, it's really finicky, so you're probably going to end up having to do this like 15 to 25. If you're unfortunate, I think one of my viewers said they had to do it like 50 times. It's really glitchy for what it is. And you can just start spamming it anytime you want. The main thing is you get hit by it. Here it comes. The power swipes when we're spamming, we're spamming, we're spamming, we're spamming, we're spamming, we're spamming. And normally that's what you'd be up here and you'd get it. But that's how you get to the moon. And that's the secret achievement there. And I think that's the reward. If not, we'll be able to see it once I go into my main thing. Because I got it lined up with my actual DPS meters or whatever for my, not recount. The one. God, I don't even remember what it's called anymore. Man. But yeah, don't be afraid. I will let you know. By no means am I the master of the Path of Ascension, so I probably, if you ask for a fight to be demoed, I probably will lose a few times. Like with Azrux earlier, where I lost like 6 times before I actually defeated him. I was trying too hard to face tank him. Really? You can clip into the tower? I gotta see this. So I assume I had to line up with one of the towers, though. I'm assuming it's probably, what, that one? No shit. That's kind of funny as hell. I'm not gonna lie. Um, can I get close enough to actually DPS him? I can't really move from this spot. And he reset too. I guess you could. I can't even reach him. That is actually really funny. Bad thing is he doesn't do his wave. I can't quite reach him either. That's really funny. That is actually really funny. That makes me laugh. Because I even, though, with Clea, though, you could probably leap back in all honesty. What's up, you? Okay. Gross. Um, but yeah. But, but, now is it all broken down and eaten? Gross. Oh, okay. Well, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to call today's Q and A over. We've been doing it for 2 hours. I appreciate everyone for coming. I will be back in like an hour, and then I'm going to do mythics and PvP, things like that. So if you want to come back and watch, you definitely can. You can still ask me questions on the Path of Ascension. If we're waiting for a group, I can also queue in because I think I'm going to redo my guide on Ecthor today, since they've made it where now you lose like 3 out of your 5 attempts. But I appreciate everyone for coming and the follows. I will be back in like I said, between like 30 minutes to an hour, and then we'll continue on with some other stuff. Kyle, don't you have class to be in? It's 12:15. But I appreciate everyone. Stay safe. Have a good day. And if you haven't already, please hit that follow button. I greatly appreciate it. We're so close to becoming affiliated. And if you also hit the Discord button down below, and you can join us in Discord. But thank you so much.